Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing today? It's Yamez with Island Metal Forge. First in, we've got Stephen Parsons, followed by Trail Duds. How y'all doing? Shane Lalonde, Paul Orchard, Bortagov. Good to see y'all in here this morning. All right, we've got a fun show for you guys today. Oh, what a week! What a week! What a week! Um, Happy holidays, by the way. I know I missed the Christmas stream, but it is what it is. Everybody's busy with family. And speaking of which, uh, that time of the segment. Oh, and it's the first of the year. It is our first show. So happy New Year! It's season 2, episode 1. And with that, we go. How was your week? Who wants to go first? Let everybody jump at once.
I'll get it. Yeah, so my actually 2 weeks was pretty fair. I mean, I worked my butt off before Christmas. We were jammed up, which is always nice. Um, had Christmas the day before, day after off. No big deal. Went home, hung out with family. Once again, nobody got in a fight or an argument, so that's always a bonus. Good food, good beer, good times to be had by all. Back to work on Monday and had a pretty decent week. Just 3 or 4 rig moves. It was all right. And New Year's, I worked overnight, so that was last night, and I was out tearing one apart. I just got in like an hour ago, and that's hence the pajama stream. I got out of the shower and yeah, we're fixing to go to bed as soon as this sucker's over.
Yep.
That was my week. Adam, how about you?
Um, Lots of recovery. So Christmas Day, of course, my family gets together for a Christmas lunch, and it's far too much food and a little bit of adult beverages, and so that was that. And then unfortunately, that was my last day off, and I've worked all week. So fortunately enough, I'm here tonight. So. Good evening, everyone. Happy holidays, happy Yule, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate.
All of that.
Hope it's been happy and peaceful and relatively chilled out. But yeah, so week's been basically recovery and working. For me, it's nothing too exciting. So yeah. What about yourself, Yamis?
Well, as I'm sure the rest of you guys have heard by now, I'm on vacation and it's almost over. We every end of the year, beginning of the year, my company takes the holiday weeks off, and it's it's great. It. I want to go back to work already. I'm so I'm so tired just working in the yard, cleaning up the shop. I ain't really done much.
I bet you can't even tell you've gone out the front door or the back door yet.
I've started a few projects, haven't really worked on the tactical combat spatula much. But, that's just par for the course. I've got to treat a process.
Right. If you didn't need cigarettes, there'd be cobwebs across your door.
Right? I was like, this couch I'd be like growing into this couch. But it's good. Saw some family, hung out. Ate food, drink, and yeah. I don't remember much of New Year's. Last night was just whoa. If I didn't
So
embarrassing, I apologize.
what you're saying is if you didn't have to go get smokes, it'd be like what happens when you sit naked on a vinyl couch or something for about an hour and a half.
I'd become the couch.
That is not an image I want to think of Yamis. That's now burned into my brain. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
The sensation of being stuck to a vinyl couch or chair.
Yeah, but it was Yamis naked that I really didn't need to imagine.
Are we hungover or still drunk? What's going on?
I'm working on it.
But yeah, so as par for the course, like just another week for me. You know, it just happens to be less work out on the job site and more work out in the yard. You know, so SSDD. Um, with that in mind, something that is not SSDD is this past year has been amazing. I just like to really quickly take this opportunity to recognize where this show, the Sunday Morning Gathering, started, and where it is today, with Tim's Blacksmith Church, years ago when he would host his live streams. And then when he got too busy and needed to pass the torch, so to speak, he came to me and I took over. And now, while I don't have the numbers that Tim does, I think I feel that I've got the heart that he does. So with that, it's like I kept it alive, kept it alive. I had a few, missteps throughout it, but this year we really turned the show around, and I could not have done it one bit without the help of my wonderful co-hosts Alex and Adam, and of course the viewers and channel supporters like you guys. Um, so today we're going to go over a little bit of what this past year entailed, the fun we've had, and possibly at the end we're going to do a sneak peek of what's to come this year because we've got some plans. So I believe with the start of the Medal of the Week, which I believe, Sully, wasn't that your idea, or was that?
No, yeah, that was my idea. I came to you and because we'd done about 3 or 4 episodes where we just kind of sat around and did the whole BS thing, and I really felt like I was just an intruder in the show because all I'm doing is coming on here and being on camera and like, I'm on the show, and I'm like, I really got to figure out a way to contribute, and so I was like, what if instead of just getting on here and talking about what we did all week or what we got going on or what we're thinking about, what if we actually covered some informative topics from time to time? And so I was like, what about if every week we just cover a different metal? I mean, and that's really where it started, and then it morphed into a whole lot of other weekly topics as well. But I was just like, I was because at the time I was thinking in my head, I was like, there are hundreds of alloys, I mean, like we could just pick one every week. We'll never run out. And it's actually a lot harder than you might think to pick them.
And then research it and talk about it.
I mean, here you can kind of see I got a periodic table of the elements. I've got 2 of them. I've got one of them that's over here sitting on or taped to the side of my dresser that I don't mess with, so I can look for information when I need it. And this is the one that's got the metal of the week's the elements that crossed off that we've already done, so I don't forget that I've already done it or whatever. And then on the back side, I've got all of the other stuff, the tools and the alloys and all that. So I mean, and that's just so I can keep track of. Wait, have I done beryllium? Oh yeah, I did do beryllium. Okay, yeah, no, never mind. Something else. And don't get me wrong, there's still a lot to go. I mean, especially when I was counting it up, and yeah, we covered where to go. Over the course of this year, we covered 18 different elements. We covered 15 different alloys, 13 different tools, and then we had a smattering of general topics such as mental health, PPE, excessive perfection, what's I mean, just and general questions for the public, like how do you handle this situation? How do you handle? I mean, and those were topics that at the time were topical, and which is kind of what we do. Is sometimes we have a whole show worked out, and it's like, hey, this came up. Let's do this instead. We'll put this one off till next week or whatever. And but we covered quite a bit, and I mean, my personal favorite. I mean, it was a horrible stream. My personal favorite, it was a horrible stream because I was phoning it in from Weatherford at the time, and there's nothing I could do about that. It's just the way timing works out. You never know where you're going to be, what's going on. But my personal favorite was elemental iron. I mean, getting to go into all of that and how when a star starts trying to fuse iron, that's the supernova or initiates the supernova, and then there's this cascade of fast neutron capture where all of the elements heavier than number 26 are created. And I mean, for me, I learned a lot just researching that episode. And I mean, even though my audio was all jacked up on the broadcast, the preparation for it was, I learned so much in the preparation for that episode, and I still remember most of it. I mean, like, it's stuff that I didn't just memorize, it's stuff that I learned, and I'm really proud of that I was like, whoa, that's really neat. Whoa. And I thought I knew, everything about that subject. Not everything, but enough
As much, yeah.
enough to speak as an authority on the subject without looking it up. But of course, even the things that I think I know, I still look them up and go over everything just to make sure I got all my ducks in a row and I'm not thinking of the wrong stuff, because that has totally happened before. So,
Right.
yeah, but that was the favorite that I had, and we had so many other good ones. I mean, that were just unexpected. Adam, do you have anything that really stands out for you as being an exceptional topic?
Okay, I have two, right, and one's slightly controversial. So the first one, which I thought, and it wasn't, both of these episodes actually weren't that long ago. Were the first one was Halloween and Silver. I thought that was a riot of an episode. It was a little bit of a tongue in cheek. We threw a little bit of humor in there.
That was fun.
But I thought that was a really good episode. And of course, being a stickler for history, Viking Steel. I thought that was a good, even though we might have started that episode off with a bit of mental health, but that was topical at the time. The fact that I love talking about history. History is a favorite thing of mine. So getting to correct a few misconceptions about something that doesn't exist it brightens my dry little heart. So getting to and even just correcting on Viking as a people as opposed to Nordic and Scandinavian, and the Viking was an occupation, basically pirates. So there's one of the reasons why I like going a Viking is, and in the pirate sense, is because most of you know that my symbol is or my touch mark is a pirate flag, so of my own design. So that kind of fits into my aesthetic. I have swords just around the corner, just behind this shelf here. I have a couple of swords that I use for training. So that kind of fits in, the historical thing fits into my thing. So those were my two favorite episodes. But one of the things I've also really loved this year is the ability that we've had to switch topics on the fly when things have come up. For example, you guys switching over to hold off so you can talk to me about uranium, and then going into carbon. It's something that we use as blacksmiths, and that it makes up 90% of things on the planet, if not more. But so being able to improvise, adapt, and that really goes back into blacksmithing as well. We all you never make a mistake. It's only rapid redesigns. That's what we do, but we're doing it on a podcast.
Exactly.
So,
it's amazing you bring that up. The analogy of being out at the forge and creating something and going through. Oh no, I burned the end of this off. Rapid redesign. Okay, shift gears. It's going to be this. No. Well, it's going to be a knife. Well, I guess I'll use this for a backing plate for a door knocker. Okay, I guess this is going to become. That's the show in a nutshell. We forged this show each week. Like it's we either have a plan or don't have a plan, and if those plans kind of rapid redesign. Instead of being this, it's going to be this, which kind of brings up. It's hilarious that you brought that like my two favorite episodes were uranium and not uranium. Not uranium, of course, being the carbon episode. We were because that was such a glorious we had it planned, and I if I remember correctly, your schedule shifted. We had it all scheduled out. And then your schedule? No, it wasn't that.
Okay. No. It was not an Atom Week. It was a Metal of the Week thing. and I was just like, I just picked uranium, and I mean, like, and I uranium is a fairly research intensive metal because of its history.
Oh,
So like,
right.
I put in the work, you know, and I'm like, I'm ready to rock and roll. And we're 10 minutes into the show, and Adam's like, hey, I worked in the uranium mines. What are you guys doing? It's like,
That's right.
I
And
forgot.
mid show, I changed the title of it from uranium to not uranium, and we're like, I guess we'll talk about. And you're like, carbon. And I'm
Well,
like,
I mean, we put it to the chat. We're like, hey, we're gonna have to shift gears. I mean, this is, you know, we're going a different direction with the show today. What do you guys want to talk about? And like the third option, something was good, and the third one was carbon. I was like, ooh, carbon. I hadn't thought of that. It's a non-metal, you
yeah.
know, and carbon, you know, and then, you know, we did get sidetracked with diamonds for quite a while, but I mean, like, hey,
Hey,
it is pretty fascinating.
when you're talking about carbon, you can literally talk about anything because everything, you know, like, you know, and
But
to
on
the.
the, well,
Go ahead.
okay. I was going to say, but also on that note, you know, just to let the viewers and the listeners later on know, you know, it's this type of thing usually doesn't happen because we'd actually planned on doing another episode earlier on in the week, and unfortunately the research and everything we had for it we had to put to the side to move on to something else. So Sully had come up with the uranium, but I hadn't read our group chat because it was my work week. So that's the reason why I wasn't aware of the uranium to be able to go, hang on, no, hold off for a week with this one because I'm at work. I hadn't, and it wasn't until I actually jumped on the stream. It was like, oh shit, it's uranium.
It's like,
So
y'all
yeah,
need to stop. I like birthday cake. I want to talk about yellow cake uranium.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, those were kind of my favorite episodes. That shift that was like
Yeah.
it was a glorious, just seamless shift into a different topic, and that's all thanks to you, the viewers. You know, you in the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah, I know that's right, Kevin. Um, you know, I wanted to bring up you know, the two Adam's two favorite episodes there were the Halloween Silver and what was the other one?
Viking Steel.
Yeah, Viking Steel. You know, I hadn't even occurred to me that you know, I'm particularly fond of Valerian steel as well. I mean, because I mean, like, no, I mean, but being able to just take a fictional item and then quote unquote provide a bunch of subfactual information was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I mean, like almost everything in that. I mean, I stole from sci-fi stuff or I made up. I mean, you know, like unobtainium is classic sci-fi. It's metal you can't get. You know, neutronium. It's the stuff that neutron stars are made of. It's the densest material in the universe. You know, Naquita is an alloy from the TV show Stargate. You know, and I just put all of these things together. Trinium is another one of those alloys from Stargate. And I put all these things together to make Valerian steel, and you know, and then threw in that conspiracy theory that this is the second evolution of humans on Earth, that we also evolved some you know, a couple 100 million years ago. And I mean, it really did, like, I don't know, it seemed to flow really nice. And I will admit, the only thing in that was 100% factual was the information on Excalibur.
right.
Everything else, I just put together with, you know, like show canon from different sci-fi series and whatever. And but it was a lot of fun to write. It was a lot of fun to do, and to just sit here and pretend like, oh yeah, all of this is you know, no, everybody knows this, right? You know, doesn't it? There's like, doesn't
Yeah,
everybody know you kill a werewolf with silver? You know, I mean,
yeah, common
And
knowledge.
but that brings up another interesting point that I thought was pertinent throughout the year as well. You know, we're all passionate and enthusiastic, and I'll put this in inverted commas, hobbyists. You know, because there are some people in our community that are professionals and stuff like that. But on the end of the day, no matter what you hear from us, you know I thought that really brought it home with the Valerian Steel, and also to a certain degree the Halloween stream
That,
was okay, listen to us, but also do your own research. Don't just believe us blindly. Go out and double check, fact check.
I still maintain
Absolutely.
that silver episode was based 100% on 100% proven fact, no contradictions to science. That is 100% accurate. If you don't believe me, go watch the episode. All the information is there. Everything that you need to know about silver is in our silver episode.
But yeah, but also I want to bring up a point. And I don't know about you, Mob, but I actually listen to the podcast after the fact as well. Like every podcast that comes out, I'm one episode behind at the moment. But every podcast that I come out for the Impractical Blacksmiths, I actually listen to, and it always surprises me when I get a Sully interjection in the middle of it. Get a Sully interjection in the middle of it. So there's a couple of points that this is from a few weeks ago that I want to clear up on the we did the movie Blacksmithing, with the rhythm tap, right? We all know about the rhythm tap and planishing because Sally come up and popped up in the middle of the podcast with like, this is Sully from the future, la la. I was like, that's a really good point about the you get the rhythm and you tap the anvil sometimes to have a look at what you're doing or to reposition, or even when you're planishing, you're planishing a lot colder than you're forging. You're not moving metal as opposed to taking the bumps out. So that's I just wanted to highlight that, and not so much highlight a mistake, but something that we overlooked live. And that's something that happens as well. And there's a reason why you should also fact check, because, when we're live, we're talking off the cuff. We do have our research and stuff like that, but we're also
we're not double checking ourselves.
Exactly. We're a lot of the times we're talking off the cuff and talking about the first things that pop into our mind, as you would with a conversation. And until someone brings up that, hey, they might just be keeping rhythm, having a look at what they're doing, all that type of stuff. You kind of don't, those thoughts don't come into your head. So thank you, Sully, for making those points in the in the podcast. But it was kind of like when I heard it, it was kind of like I smacked my head. I was like, yeah, well, okay, I can see the point there.
With something like tapping the anvil, it's really tough to pinpoint to answer with, definitively, why do blacksmiths tap the anvil between striking the steel? There are a plethora of reasons. There's a plethora of reasons.
Reason to do it.
Yeah, some people do, some people don't. Some people do it, because it's the way they were trained. Some people do it because they think that's what you're supposed to do. Some people do it to look at the steel. Some people do it to bounce the hammer, to adjust. There's several reasons why it happens.
Isn't it Joey Vandersteeg that hates bouncing the hammer off the anvil? He says it's a waste of time. I know there's a fairly well-to-do blacksmith out there that thinks like that absolutely hates bouncing the hammer off the anvil.
Probably Roy.
And I will have to say that, like, when I started, I did like a year and a half on a Harbor Freight. And I learned really quick, never touch the hammer or the anvil. So I never bounced the hammer because it was going to leave a dent, So I mean, like, when I needed to turn, I pulled up and I stopped, and then started my routine. And then once I got my mouse hole, I was able to just, once I start, pat, 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 and I can just keep my arm moving at the exact same rhythm and just move the hammer on and off of my piece as I'm working and taking a look.
Yeah, I do this. I tap, 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 and then pull up and kind of rest it. I let the backswing pull it up, and I let it sit. I know y'all are 15 seconds behind, but yeah, I do that. I only tap the anvil on the rare occasion that I need to do a quick flip, and it's not even every time. Like, because I can flip easy, in my hand. I can flip places fairly easy.
Well, you know what? I don't ever flip coming off my piece.
Yeah.
I always flip off the anvil. Just because of the rebound coming back. I hit tap, 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 ping, flip, bam, bam, and right back to it,
Yeah.
And and honestly, I mean, that's one of the like things I'm most proud of in my in my journey of hobby blacksmithing is just somehow, some way, figuring out that ability to just like flip the hammer from one side to the other in the middle of a swing, just round side, anvil, bing, flat side, flat side, and it's just like I didn't consciously make an effort to figure it out. It just kind of freaking happened one day, and I was like, whoa.
And
Yeah.
this is also, this type of discussion is also a perfect example of differences, because like I tap the anvil, but I only tap the anvil when I'm doing light hammering. So and what I mean by light hammering is those short, close blows that aren't full
Yeah.
swing. When I'm getting a full swing, reaching right up, I don't tap the anvil, because when I'm getting that hammer right up, I'm looking at what I'm doing there and forward planning. So I'm I might get 5, 6, 7 hits before I stop and readjust, and that's including the turning and stuff, like I'm turning and all that type of thing. And so it just shows you the range. There's more than one way to skin a cat, but there's no right way to there's no absolute right way to blacksmith.
I like that. It needs to be a t-shirt. But yeah, like I got it's the hammer flip is one of those topics that you can just go on and on about. We've had several throughout the year, several times that topic has come up. And, if you think about it, through the course of the past year, we have had a lot of similar topics come up because, there's new people joining all the time, and they want to they want to ask questions, or they want to hear about a topic, or like right there we see in the chat, hey, what's this all about, and so we'll cover again and again and again. What are some topics that you guys can think of off the top of your head over the past year? I know I've got a crap memory, so trying to remember like numbers and everything is just wrong for me, but topics that we've done to death, so to speak. Like we talked about the things that we loved. Anything through the past year that oh my God, if we got to do another episode on ... because
Really, isotopes? Are you kidding me?
Isotopes forever.
Isotopes. Speaking of which, real quick, how many isotopes have we talked about this year?
234.
234. I think we can beat that number this upcoming season.
Well, is that the total number of isotopes contained in each element that we've talked about, or is that like what's that metric there?
That is the cumulative number of isotopes of each element we discussed. The 18 elements, chemical element that we discussed over the course of the year. Obviously, alloys do not have isotopes; only elements do. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're new to the show, that we've got. Ask me about my isotopes.
Ask me.
Want to. We've got me, the comedian. We've got Sully, the scientist, and we've got Adam, the historian. How do you pronounce it? Historian?
I'm not a historian. I'm just enthusiastic about history.
Historian.
History enthusiast.
Yeah. Aluminum.
Kind of like Australian.
Yeah.
As well as I am not a scientist. I do not have a degree. I am a science enthusiast.
So, like, I think we've kind of got our bases covered for a well-rounded group. I love it, and I can't gush enough, especially seeing how well this past year has gone. I mean, there have been a few rocky starts. There have been a few shows where it's just these technical difficulties for whatever reason, or a topic where it's just this topic is not really working.
Yep. Well, that's right. We did. Hold on. We did do Rot twice. Yeah, because we
did Rot Revisited. Yes.
Rot Revisited on the 1-year anniversary. Right.
Yeah. But like for the most part, again, I can't gush enough that with bringing on Sully as a co-host, and then Adam, help me out with my memory here. Did you reach out to us, or did we reach out to you? I know that there in the past I was considering stopping my live streams, and I discussed with you on the side, and you like talked me off the ledge, so to speak, from not doing my live streams anymore, and convinced me to start
It,
shifting the schedules. When did you come on the
I think
show?
it
And
was. I think it was just kind of organic. It was just that every second week I was here, and I'm like a bad smell. You can't get rid of me. So
forced his way in.
and then we found out a lot of guys were listening to the show, and their wives were also sitting down and letting them listen to it without interruption because of my voice. So,
So
and it all started with this little tune, put the book on, turn the lights down low.
Man, I used to have that on a sound button. I'm so sad that soundboard broke.
Oh man. So to the wives of the viewers out there, thank you. Thank you for letting your husbands sit and watch us, we three idiots on the internet.
or vice versa. If you're the
Or
wife
vice
and your husband
versa.
likes to listen to me too as well, that's
Yeah.
fine by me.
Ben Toombs is in the chat drooling about you right now.
Exactly. I know Ben loves me.
Yeah.
Ben Toombs is so short that the drool hits the ground before it even breaks, right?
Oh, Ben, we love you. Ben, I will take this rare opportunity with it being kind of a specialty show and just say, Ben Toombs, we love you. You have been such an awesome member of the blacksmith community. You're there for people. You're there with the jokes. You're a punching bag, and we love you for it. A punching bag in the nicest sense possible. Nobody here really, really, really. Well, maybe Daniel Moose doesn't like you, but Daniel Moose.
Well, but to be fair, we all know he can kick our ass. So
yeah. We tease you until we're face to face with you. Then it's all yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
I want no beef, man. I don't want no trouble.
I don't want no trouble. Yeah.
I seen what you did to the Moose Man. I'm good.
He almost did the same to Penny.
Yeah, and then I saw what you did with the 8-pound sledgehammer. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty acrobatic. I'm gonna step the heck on back.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so not to keep that gush going. It's like it's just I love the way this show has gone. I love the way it's
yeah, man,
out.
you got something on your nose there.
Yeah. I love the way the show's turned out, and I'm really excited for the future of it. And it's because of you guys. It's because of you, the chat, and you, the co-host.
Hey, where are we at time wise?
We are currently at 34 minutes. But
do you think maybe we ought to get into a little bit of next year, or what do you think?
I could talk about what's coming up, for hours if you want me to. Okay, so a little bit of.
Hey, don't get me. I got a sheet of paper here,
from the previous year.
I mean, for 2022, I've got 18 elements, 15 alloys, and 13 tools that I can reminisce about every episode off the top of my head and tell you, oh, let me see, aluminum. We argued about the correct pronunciation. Is it aluminum or is it aluminium?
I think
turns out both are correct depending on where you're at in the world.
Well, I think we've also reached a compromise with that, and it's aluminum.
And then
okay. Get the evil eye from the southern.
Did anybody here know that hydrogen was actually a metal, and the synthesis of metallic hydrogen has actually been achieved prior to me talking about it? No, of course you didn't, because what are you going to do with metallic hydrogen? Fuel the future. That's what you're going to do. But anyways, I can keep going.
Well, no, okay. So I'd like to take a little bit of time before we actually reveal what next season. We're calling each year a season. What the next year of the Impractical Blacksmiths and the Sunday Morning Gathering is going to bring to the table. I'd like to kind of chit chat about where this idea and where this plan came from, because it's fascinating. Okay, and this also touches on over the last year.
Yeah. I wanted to get something because once we start down that rabbit hole, it's not going to stop.
Right.
So I wanted to talk about our guest hosts over the last year.
Good idea.
People that we've had on that are by and large experts in their field, and I mean, like, I can consider them that. I mean, you may not, but I do. I mean, just off the top of my head, we've had Sam Towns, we've had Roy from Christ Centered Ironworks so many times, and I can guarantee you, I mean, if Roy says it, there's a pretty good chance he's right, and if he's wrong, he'll eat your hat. But
yeah,
we had Kevin Stokes from Trailers 55, talking about goldsmithing or whatever, because his wife is a jeweler. Who else?
Granddad's Forge, talking about smelting or furnacing or melting steel and making steel.
Working in a foundry.
Yeah, working in a foundry. We've had Big Dog Forge in here, Tim, talking about a plethora of different. I'm on that word plethora today. A whole bunch of different topics, ranging from like engineering a plan, or just jumping in and talking community with us. You know, Talking Damascus, all sorts of things. Who else have we had? I mean, I know early on in the show iterations, we had it open and had a lot of people just coming in and talking. I can't even remember everybody. We've had just the guests from the chat jumping into the Discord and joining the show.
Right, and yeah, that kind of went sideways one time, and we had to kind of rein ourselves back in. But yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of good guests, and it's not something that's really something that we control. Who was the other one? Eduardo Sol.
Yes,
I mean, God, that was a fun episode.
The members episode. The members episode. It was a members only episode, and it was released as podcast exclusive, where you could watch kind of the setup and us talking and everything through the members chat. And
well, and actually, what I didn't know at the time when I set it all up was that premieres go out to everybody. So I did set it as a premiere, so everybody got to watch it during the premiere. But then after that, it was members only. So
right, okay. See, I didn't know
that prior to that happening, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
because Paul Orchard was in the premiere chat like a week before, because I uploaded and I set it as a premiere, and then Paul Orchard's like, I'll be there. I'm like, but you're not a member yet. How do you even have this notification? And I'm like,
I'll let him have that because Paul. He is now a member.
Yeah. Congratulations on that gift membership, Paul. Don't forget to thank Michael at Black Collar Ironworks.
Yeah. As amazing. Just, again, we've had so many guests. If we forgot one of you, I apologize.
I know we're forgetting somebody, and it's just like I'm going to lay down here in a little bit and
go to it.
And right before I go to sleep, I'm going to be like, oh, I should have, oh well, it happens.
That's all right. In post there, Sully, when we actually transfer this over the podcast format, you can jump in from the future.
You're like, hold on, let me get this right. Excuse me, this is Sully from the future, and I'd just like to interject that yeah, we forgot the episode we had with Ben Toombs, and he talked about his left arm being a beer holder, and yada yada yada.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Very good. What was that?
Go ahead.
I was going to say
I just had to turn the audio effect so that you could tell there's a difference between me from the future and me from now. So.
Very good call to pull that up before we run down this next rabbit hole. So a little bit of knowledge from behind the scenes. we often jump into a chat or after the show, stay in the chat if we all have time. And on several occasions, those chats will go from, we end the show like at 11 or 11:30, and those chats will go. One time it went till I think 6 p.m. my time. So that's 7 hours we sat in here, BSing about uh, cultural
Actually,
differences.
that time we were going over OBS, and that was kind of like mine and Adam's like training on how we could take over the streams that lasted all day.
Right. But like we'll talk about cultural differences between countries. We'll talk about we'll continue on the topics that we covered in the show. We'll discuss potential new ideas for new shows. You know, just whatever. And we go down these insane rabbit holes just of whatever random stuff pops in our mind. And really what has been happening is, or what happened was, we're chatting about just, I think we were talking about the Viking episode and about how that was more of a history lesson, and then we got started talking about history of this, history of that, the different eras, and we're like, it's, yeah, we're like, we should be recording this to put this out as the podcast. And and it's like, so quick, somebody hit record. And from here on out, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be recording anytime we have a chat. We're going to just click record. And if it turns into a rabbit hole discussion about, you know, here's a teaser, the Easter Island heads, or Machu Picchu, or bronze embedded with garnets and corundum dum dum, sapphires, whatever, we'll post that. But that kind of brings, let me see, it's a little too early to throw out the full on preview because we're
Well,
at 42 minutes. You guys
yeah,
want to?
yeah. I'll interject a little bit here. And so, yeah, we're talking about, like we're just sitting here discussing Vikings, and I'm like, how are the Vikings any different from this group of people right here? They did the exact same thing, exactly. I mean, like had the same modus operandi, same thing, and everybody's like, oh, Vikings, oh, Vikings, oh, Vikings. Well, what about these people did the same thing? Why don't you say the same? Because they're not glorified in Hollywood. Hollywood glorifies the Vikings. I mean, TV, whatever, and I mean, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, not necessarily the opinion of the show, but Hollywood tends to glorify the life of the Vikings, or the people that would go a Viking, as Speargrass or Asparagus Forge would say. And there's bringing back something from back in the day.
Hi, Matt.
And so these little nuances are we're gonna dive a little deep, because I mean, like, don't get me wrong, we had like a 3 hour conversation where we dove down in the depths and we argued, and we're like, no, look it up, okay, and I mean, like, and then at 3 hours in, I'm like, why aren't we recording this? This would be this show would be radio gold right now. I mean, like, and it's like everybody's like, wait, okay, hit record, and then all of a sudden everybody goes into show mode, and it's like, and it's like all of the just real conversation just stops, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna have to figure out how to not do that.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know if you the viewers notice this, but when we're doing our show here, we're talking to you, while side conversating but with each other. Occasionally we'll slip into conversational tone, but it's really geared to you. And we'd really like to, with the podcasts, occasionally um, have them where we're not speaking to the viewers, we're talking to each other, and then you guys are just listening into our conversation. Because some of them,
And we also keep it. We also keep it relatively PG when we're on here, because we understand that some people have children that might be listening and all that type of stuff. In our back of house conversations, we kind of get a little bit more blue. a few more swear words and stuff like that. So, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how we notice we're in show mode, because everything gets PG.
Yeah.
It's like and like we're having a normal everyday the way adults conversation, and then Yamez hits record, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh heck,
just subconsciously we all just
darn
Disney it up.
Well, I messed that one up, you know, and it's like, and I'm like, hey, this.
He's like, hit pause.
By going into show mode, live show mode, all of our authenticity is kind of like out the window. It's like, you know, the only time we didn't do that was the Ed Saul episode. When we did the Ed Saul episode, it was just straight up, you know, we had a conversation with Ed the way normal adults have a conversation, and you know, whatever words were said, and nobody went, oh, I'm sorry, I can't say that, you know.
Yeah.
And in our test the other night, where we were trying to let's just record a conversation. I mean, nobody said anything. It's just we all just kind of slipped right into show mode, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have to work on this a little bit.
It's a new medium, but I will say this: this is sort of a teaser and sort of a side thing that's going to happen because of some plans we have for the future, this upcoming year, in the Blacksmith's Gathering, and what that is it's we're not shifting the entire show, but I believe we agreed that like once a month we were going to bring up a topic, or we were going to bring it up twice in the month, one to bring it up and then one to see where everybody went with it. And the idea is, I think the historian should really be the one to present it.
All right.
I'm like teasing you guys and throwing him under the bus.
Yeah. So the idea is we're going to talk about civilizations or cultures and how either blacksmithing did affect them, or how the use of iron and blacksmithing could have affected them and changed the direction of their civilization, and what sort, if any, of smithing did they have. So we'll be traveling around the world with this topic, going to all different sorts of cultures and stuff like that. It's also going to broaden our mind into current day smithing in certain countries and stuff like that. We've already kind of touched on this topic throughout the year already, and it's the reason why we kind of come to the conclusion to expand it a bit. Like, for example, with iron, throughout this year we learned that iron started in the Indus Valley in India. They were the first vestiges of smelting was in India. Of course, now we all know that there's certain and I do this in inverted commas, knife makers that sell a certain type of knife which is absolutely horrible, and I'm not going to repeat the name because it's rather insulting, but but that comes from that part of the world. So it's and we've talked about Viking steel and how it didn't exist and how it was really Damascus, and we've talked about different types of metalworking over the course of the year. So now we're just expanding that idea into the cultural implications of not only smithing but metalwork in general, and how it could have changed or did change the course of a society at the time. And that's of course going to include stuff like, where did a smith sit in that society's hierarchy? As we know, in European, smiths were a general thing, but they generally didn't sit very high in the hierarchy. But so we're going to go into that as well. So yeah, so we kind of, as I was talking about with the it was hinted at with Easter Island there before. These are the types of conversations that happen, and they flow organically, and it's like, this is a really good idea, we should really be recording this, and then it's like 20 minutes later, have you hit record yet? Oh no, I forgot.
Well, with that, one of the topics that we had discussed, and we decided, we're going to try and fit this into the show. Now, this is a full-on teaser for you guys, or a full-on spoiler for you guys. expect a show discussing speculative metalworking. An idea that Adam had, and it's concerning Bronze Age metalworking and the tools they may have used to carve some of these mysterious structures hundreds of thousands or whatever years ago, eons ago,
And now
whatever.
to the people who have actually been actively listening to the podcast, you should have a very good idea because we did actually discuss it in one of the podcasts.
But we're going to do it.
Yes.
On that note, though, here's another little bit of a teaser. This year, we're going to have more community participation.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Yep. Go ahead, Yamas.
So for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and say what it is. If you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, guys, on whether you want me to say, yeah. All right. So in this specific example that we keep hinting at is the speculative idea that, like, say, take ancient Egyptians, for example. The idea is that they may have used crushed garnet or crushed corundum, which is sapphire, ruby, etc., infused into their bronze, into their bronze tooling. And it's funny how one of us thought of a bow saw, one of us thought of a chisel, and one of us was like, no, it's a freaking circular saw, but molded and put those gemstones into the bronze to give a better cutting edge. And I believe the science of it, Adam, you were saying, as the bronze wears away, it brings on new fragmented gemstones to allow it to cut. Think of like a diamond wheel cutting, a diamond wheel cutting blade for like a concrete saw or something. And the idea would be we present these ideas and to you, the viewer, and you guys, well, let's see what we can come up with. You grab yourself a crucible, if you have one. If you don't, grab, whatever. Gather the materials, make it, present the idea here or present the findings here in the Discord. Like, for this, like if you make yourself a little circular saw, and you put it on, I don't know, an egg beater or something, and does it start to chew into granite, for example? And going with that, to include you guys into the show, and further along with that, not just that, but forging a representation of an era that we talk about. Like if we have a topic that's somewhere like random, 1300 AD to 1400 AD, that 100-year span, what was the metalworking technology of the time? Off the hand, I don't know. You got to go to the historian for that. But we'll do that as a topic, and you, the viewer, like, we would challenge you to, okay, by the end of the month, before the next topic, present a piece, forge a piece, or create a piece representative of that era. Just to see what people's imaginations can come up with.
And to be clear on this, we're not talking about like a great big sword type thing. I mean, it can be something as simple as a Suffolk latch or a lock or a drawer pull or something that accurately anything. I mean, like it can be, it doesn't matter. A spoon, yeah, exactly. It can be anything that represents the quality of metalwork or the type of metalwork that would have been produced in the society at the time that we're discussing. And we're discussing about maybe there being like prizes, stuff like that. We'll see what we can come up with.
And you have to remember with that, guys, there was a period in history where iron was considered jewelry because it was that expensive and that rare. Like that, sure, you had the swords and stuff like that were a status symbol. But if you had iron jewelry, that was classified, you were rich. Iron at one stage was as precious as gold.
I'm pretty sure I covered that in Valerian steel, because that was the most intricate form of jewelry was a Valerian steel necklace, or
Yeah.
that was semi-factual there, but yeah.
That was 100% factual. That was as factual as our Halloween episode.
Absolutely.
But so So all of that said, I am extremely excited about this upcoming year. I am extremely happy how this last year has gone. Uh, you know, I just where the show is at and where I see the show going. We may not have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people tuning in every week. I'd rather have a
Yeah.
small, loyal group chatting about things that we are passionate about than 1,000 random people shouting just to be heard. You know,
No, I will say the conversation over here is quite engaging at times, and I'm sorry we're not really paying a lot of attention, just hitting some high points here and there, but we've got a lot of material to get out today, and so we're trying to stick to this, and just like when one person's talking, be able to join in. But um, yeah, I mean, so I don't even remember where I was going with that, so I'm just going to stop talking.
yeah, we're almost done anyway. I mean, we're about there. I know we've all got our things to go to for the first of the year. So with that, I
Two of us
mean,
have got to pass out. Before you continue, I just want to make one more point, guys. If you want to participate in the challenges or whatever that we've got coming up this year, whilst we will say you've got a month to get it in, that's just so that we can showcase what's been done in that month before we move on to the next topic. If you get to our, for example, the Egyptian bronze, encrusted garnet stuff, and you get to that 6 months later, that's fine. Still send it into us because we're
we'll
still
go over it. We'll bring it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up. We'll mention it because we just want to see what can get done in that month, and also give you something different to do as well. If you're stuck in a rut, or we do have people that in the community that do casting and smelting and stuff like that, to give them something to join in as well, because I know, for example, Aimless Adventurer, Matthew at Aimless Adventures, and he does a lot of aluminium casting. I nearly did it.
Aluminum.
Aluminum for you Americans. But he does a lot of aluminium casting. So perhaps him doing something with a little bit of bronze isn't so far removed from what he's already doing. So those of you that do like to cast and want a little bit of a different challenge, or those of you that haven't casted yet but wants to get into it, these are opportunities for you to do just something slightly different, and expand your abilities maybe a bit more, and also come with us on the experimental archaeology type thing, where there's so many stories of craftspeople, and the one I really like is the leather burnisher, where a guy who works leather goes into the museum and they've got a bone there, the bone tool on display, that they have it as a ceremonial object, and the leather worker goes, "Oh, that's a burnisher," to the curator, and they go, "Burnisher? What do you mean a burnisher?" And then the leather worker explained what they use it for, and he goes, "I have one made of bone at home. It's put in my toolkit. We still do it exactly that way to this day." So this experimental archaeology, in the sense of going back and looking at things that kind of a lot of people, a lot of professionals gone don't make sense, where we can look at it and go, "Well, hang on, I can do that." So why not give it a go?
Yeah.
That's my thinking of it anyway. But yeah,
I know that as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to be picking up myself a crucible or two, and looking into setting up at least a rudimentary melting blast furnace thing. So I will also attempt to be participating.
Honestly, I just like I light a coal fire, and I just set my little crucible right up there on top. Now you can't just let it go, because as the coal burns down, it'll move. But I mean, so you got to stay on it, and make sure it doesn't tip over. But yeah, you can totally fire a melt bronze, brass, aluminum on top of a coal fire. I mean, you don't have to build anything really special. It
Okay.
takes, in my opinion, it takes a little bit longer in a gas forge. And I don't know why, but it just does. But it can still be done there because I've done glass. I've melted glass and aluminum in my gas forge. So
Yeah. All
So
right.
before we get to wrapping up, right? Let's do one more thing I wanted to ask you, right? What is your plan outside of the podcast and this and Sunday morning gathering and stuff like that? What's a project or a plan that you would like to get done this year?
The octopus, the octopus sculpture. Damn it! I want to finish. Yeah, I want to get that octopus sculpture done.
Because of course we heard on Roy's live stream he wants to start his masterpiece as well. So you get your octopus sculpture done. What about you, Sally?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. It's the gallery piece for Quad State that every year seems to get pushed off far enough that it's just too hot to get done. And I mean, even by the time you go to Quad State here, it's still too hot. So if I don't have it mostly done by like April, it's not going to get done. So yeah, I'd like to get my gallery piece done by April-ish, and then I mean as far as the heavy forging, and then I can work on the small details and the intricacies over the course of the summer. I'm not really going to say what it is because I don't. I want it to be a surprise if I get it done, and if I don't, I'll have it for another year. But you know, so yeah.
So
But
basically, you're going to start next week.
I've attempted to every year. I've had a different idea on what to do, and every year something has gotten in the way of me getting that done, and I've never been able to get it done. And and those ideas are all still up here, but every year, I mean, it's like I come up and it's like, well, that's pretty good, but this is going to be better. Oh, that was a pretty good idea, but this one's going to be better. And so every
Yeah.
year it kind of evolves, except for this one. This is the one I meant to do this last year and never got around to it. And it's still the one I'm planning to do this year. So we'll see how that goes. It may work out. It may not. And if it doesn't, I've just got a project I'm saving for 2024.
Right.
I mean, and that's smithing wise. I mean, as far as the other stuff, I mean, like, what I like to accomplish this year. Yeah, this isn't really the menu for that, and I should probably just leave that alone.
Big hugs. Um,
Well, personally, for me, I need to get my workshop finished so I can start doing projects again. That's high up on the priority list. But of course, as everyone knows, this last year I did the four annotated versions of practical blacksmithing. I'm about if it's not already live, it should be live very shortly. The complete version, so the big volume version of practical blacksmithing, all that 4 volumes in one, that should be up soon. And this year I hope to get written, and I've now settled on the title. I've hinted at this a few times, but it's going to be a practical blacksmithing companion. So it will be a volume of a whole heap of other stuff from other blacksmithing periodicals, books, and works that are around the same time when practical blacksmithing, the articles were written for that. It will also be extra articles from the same magazine from outside of the published date, and I want to get that done this year. Hopefully it won't take me all year, but it will be extra stuff that, and of course a little bit away from carriage making. It'll be more actual blacksmithing stuff. So yeah, that's what I hope to get done, apart from doing some actual smithing again, because my arms are itching to swing hammer. And
well,
yeah.
You do realize that in order to finish your workshop, you've got to start it, right?
I've got to start. I've got the area cleared, right? I just need to actually get the machinery to.
The cleared area is overrated. The cleared area is overrated.
All you did was get rid of your shade.
I need, but you see, I need to, because if Yamez would know, there's nothing quite that's quite as exciting but also terrifying as during a cyclone, a tree falling through your workshop.
Yep.
Because they get airborne during hurricanes. So, I didn't want that. That's why I kind of wanted to move them away. I'm working under a roof. That'll be fine.
Yep. Just make sure it's anchored. All right.
That's it.
Right.
Without further ado, I'd like to move on to final thoughts. I know this whole episode has kind of been final thoughts for the last year, but let's hear your final thoughts. Nobody raise your hand for once.
Yeah, I mean, so this is basically a year in review and a year in, I don't know the word for upcoming, but
preview.
Preview, yeah. And well, I'm an idiot. Yeah. You're in preview. How freaking hard was that? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the work we've put into this, because I mean, we don't get paid for it. We just do it because we love it. It's fun, and we learn. I mean, honestly, we learn stuff every week. All of us do, and we hope you do too. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you weren't learning anything and we didn't have any interesting content, you'd just be like, not seen that, not coming back, whatever. So I hope you guys have enjoyed what we've been putting out, and I hope you to continue to enjoy this little expansion of our path. I mean, we're still going to talk about some of the stuff we still do. We're still going to do elements. We're still going to do metals. We're still going to do tools. But every now and then we're going to touch on some new stuff that's probably going to be a little bit more engaging and more fun. I mean, at least making you think. So think about the ancient civilizations or current civilizations and how blacksmithing applies to them, and maybe you can add some input. If some of you guys out there may be experts in the Mayans, or say the Chileans,
the Azazizis,
or the Egyptians, or the whatever. I mean, like, pick your isolated culture from time, and some of you may have something to add to that. And if you do, when we're going to announce the what we're going to be talking about 2 weeks before we do it. Do some research, do some preparation, and by all means, get in the Discord, come on the show, and take us to school. I'm cool with that. So, Adam, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is I've had a wonderful year, and I have loved the participation that we've had so far. As Sully said, we do this because we enjoy it. So I really would love, and we have grown as a show, as a podcast, and I'd love to see us grow further. So if you know anyone that might be interested in listening, joining in, having a chat, whatever, recommend the podcast, recommend the Sunday morning show when we record this live. Where we want to inspire and reach as many people as inspire and reach us. As a group, we follow hundreds of blacksmiths, and we get inspired every day. So, I hope that we have been able and can continue to be able to do that into the future for other Smiths. I really want to thank those people that joined us this year as channel guests, so that we can encourage them to come on more. And Eduardo, Roy, Sam, I've loved having those interactions with people that really have a deep-seated passion of themselves for this community. So that's my final thoughts. But before we get to Yamez, thank you for joining us, everyone. You can find Yamez at Island Metal Forge on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find Alex at Transcendental Artist Studios on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can find me, Adam, at Speargrass Forge on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't forget that if you have any suggestions for Tool of the Week, Metal of the Week, or with the coming up Civilization of the Month, you can leave them under the hashtag Metal of the Week in the YouTube community chat on Discord, or you can email us at impracticalblacksmith@gmail.com. If you have found found us on Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Google Podcasts, or any other podcast provider that we're currently on. We generally upload every Wednesday, or you can join us live on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's currently 12:30 p.m. 12:30 a.m. Monday morning Australian Central Standard Time. But check that against your local time, and that's at Island Metal Forge YouTube channel. Finally, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, or leave a star rating if you found us on the podcast, and we really do appreciate your support. With that said, Yamez, what are your final thoughts?
I'm crying. Like,
We're
really?
clear.
No, it's my usual. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for the engagement. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to a whole lot more, and I am so grateful for everything this past year. Um, it's truly been an amazing ride so far, and I'm looking forward to keeping it going. Uh, as I always say, I could not do this without you all. In the chat and my co-hosts. I could not at all do it without you guys. Um, so thank you all for being amazing, and uh, I got nothing. I'm tearing up here. All right, guys. With that, I've got a nurse's hangover, and I'm gonna try and get out to the show or out and stream tonight. So I don't know what I'm doing yet, but tune in at 6 p.m. here on Island Metal Forge for Forging with Yamez, and I look forward to the first forging of the year. You guys all have a wonderful day. Be safe, and we love you.
Bye.